Okay, now I'm going to mention the most extreme touches, and those touches will literally like make the girl go crazy. How's it going, boys? So did you know that the girl has so many really sensitive spots on her body besides her breasts and her vagina? Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal all those spots, and if you stick with me to the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the most sensitive spot that will drive the girl nuts if you touch it and you play with it. So if you're into that, I'd really appreciate it if you guys like this video, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. Now, some of the spots I'm going to mention in this video, you can either touch them, kiss them, and play with them if you are trying to get the girl horny, trying to get her in bed. And some of them, you can touch them and play with them if you're already in bed. So I really want you to note which spots are okay for you to touch them maybe outside or before you slept with a girl, and which spots you can only touch them when you're already in bed with her. So one of my absolute favorite spots that barely any guy touches is the spot right here, right under the armpit. There's some meat that you can touch usually on the girl, and grabbing it, it's sort of a miniature, really small massage that you can do to the back of the girl. And touching that spot is really, it's not a sexual touch, but it can be very arousing. The back is usually a very tense muscle. That's why we really enjoy back massage. And when you're standing and you're talking with a girl, maybe you're sitting with a girl, just grabbing right here on the meat on her back will give her a lot of pleasure. This point right here is filled with nerve endings, and grabbing it can be very pleasurable and can lead to some sexual thoughts and to warming the girl up before you get her in bed. One of the other spots that you can touch, and you should touch, especially if you're at a kissing stage with the girl, is the back of her head, and most importantly, under her hair. So if you put your fingers through her hair and you basically massage the back of her head with your fingers, it will give a semi-orgasmic feeling to the girl. Just try and let the girl touch you with her nails on the back of your head, and you'll realize it's a very sensitive spot and it gives a lot of pleasure. So you can use that to your advantage if you're trying to get the girl ready, to get her horny before getting in bed. Now, after that, what you can do is you can either grab with your hand the back of the neck and massage it gently, or you can basically whisper in her ear or just breathe next to her ear and kiss under her ear. And this spot is one of the most sensitive spots on the body that barely any guy touches. And this spot, it's almost like a top secret spot. Doing that might drive the girl completely nuts. She might just jump on you and want to bang you immediately. Also, what you can use with a girl that you are more confident with, perhaps you're already in bed, is basically grabbing with your teeth. I'm not saying biting, just grabbing gently with your teeth behind of her neck or on her neck. Now, some people might be into that, others are not, and by people I mean girls. So you really have to pay attention to how she's responding to that. Me personally, I hate when somebody bites me, but my girlfriend loves it when I bite her. So some girls may like it, some don't. Also, you can try and bite under her neck, this trapezius side, which is also usually very tense, very sensitive, and especially if you're already having sex, you're behind her, it almost kind of gives this an animal vibe, like this kind of primal vibe that some girls may really dig and may be really into that. Now to the next part, and the next part is also going to be a part which you're only allowed to use only if you're already in bed with a girl. So the next part is going to be the fingers. I don't think you have thought of it. So I don't want you to massage the fingers, but the fingertips, if you know it or not, is one of the most sensitive parts on your body. You can literally feel any very small thing on the table, like it can be less than a piece of sand and you'll feel it with your fingertips. So the fingertips are really, really sensitive, and if you can use it to your advantage, for example, licking her fingers or sucking on them, especially while you're having sex, or maybe trying to warm up to sex, this can drive the girl completely nuts, because again, it's not something that the girl is used to, because the girls are usually the ones that are sucking, not the guy. But then you're giving her this very intimate, very special experience that she may have not experienced in the past. Also, if you're in a position to do some massage, or perhaps you already did the massage and you're trying to escalate and get it a little bit more sexual, you can start kissing her back from the top around the ears and just go down through her spine and to the sides. Now the sides here, they're usually ticklish, and they're ticklish mainly because they're filled with nerve endings. So that means they're very sensitive. Now, if you kiss them properly and if you touch them properly, you can really drive the girl nuts. So be careful here to not be ticklish. So you really have to calibrate your moves to not make them too soft for them to be ticklish and not too hard for them to not be intimate. So it has to be something in between. And again, how can you know if you're doing the right thing? You really have to listen to what the girl is saying, listen to how she's responding to your touches, and this way you will know. Now, one of my other favorite spots, and I got in trouble for touching my girlfriend in the dating phase when I touched them. It was a second date and I touched there, and that was like a big red light for her. So that spot is the love handles. So the love handles, it's a tricky spot because it's not really the ass and it's also not really the back. So it's somewhere in between. So it's kind of a gray zone which signals some sexuality to the girl, but it's also not super sexual. So it's a spot that you maybe can touch, I don't know, maybe third date. Depends on how comfortable the girl is sexually and physically with you. But especially if the girl has got some meat there that you can grab, it can be a very sexual touch. Even if she's wearing a dress, even if she's wearing a clothes, on top of the clothes, you can grab that and you can really escalate the energy and warm things up. 99% of the guys don't know that the girl has 3 kinds of orgasms that she may experience, and it will drive her nuts. It will make her super attached to you, super connected to you. Now, I compiled those 3 orgasms and I put them in a very simple format. If you'd like to get them, I'm gonna leave a link to that in the description of the video below, along with all the other resources and stuff that I use personally. So make sure to check them out. Okay, now I'm going to mention the most extreme touches, and those touches will literally like make the girl go crazy. So those touches are probably not for everybody, so I warn you, maybe you don't want to use them, but I'm just going to mention them anyway. So those touches are basically around the girl's ass or a little bit under it, so the thighs. Now, what you want to do is you want to do the opposite. So you want to avoid like touching the asshole and touching the pussy, and you want to go around her ass, kissing the sides and kissing or grabbing the thighs under her ass. Now, again, this is a super sensitive spot and a very intimate spot. It gives the girl this kind of, like, she's not sure if you are going to go direct to the asshole, if you're going to touch the asshole or the pussy. It kind of like puts her in this, I don't know what his next move is gonna be, this kind of surprising mood. And that can really drive the girl crazy sexual when you touch that. So the way you can do it is as a foreplay in bed with a girl that you probably already had sex with, or it can be a means to escalate things. So if you're doing a massage for the girl, instead of trying to take her clothes off, try touching close to the asshole and to the pussy, but not actually touching them. And what that will do is that will kind of give the girl a small taste of what the pleasure may be if you actually touch the asshole and the pussy. And that will just keep her thinking that she wants more. She wants you to get closer to that. And what that will do is that will kind of push the girl to do the move, push her to jump on you, to want you more. And what you're going to realize is that those moves are going to make her extremely wet. So it's almost as if it's a foreplay, but yet again, you haven't gone down on the girl, you haven't touched her boobs, maybe you even didn't kiss her yet. So it's gonna really warm up the oven for you to put the sausage in. Now for the last 2 moves, and I do realize they're pretty extreme, so they're not for everybody. If you're not cool with it, just don't do it. I'm just sharing what I do. Now, Number one is while you're having sex with a girl, you can suck on her toes, on her feet. Now, if you're disgusted by it, it's probably not the thing for you, but for me personally, I get a lot of pleasure from seeing my girlfriend enjoy it and get pleasure from it, so therefore I do it. And the toes and the feet, like, think about it, who puts them in their mouth? Like, pretty much nobody. So that's why it's a very exciting move for you to do on the girl. And if you pay attention to her face, you're going to see this kind of shocked, excited face, the face that you haven't experienced something like this in the past. And for me personally, that's the kind of face I like to see, and that's why I do it. Now, the second one, and again, that's probably one of the most extreme ones, is the asshole. Now, if you're disgusted by it, if you think it's nasty, don't get close to it. I personally don't think it's nasty. That's why I go to that route. Now, with the asshole, again, you can kiss around the asshole. You can kiss in the asshole if you're cool with that. But again, you're going to be surprising most girls. Trust me, most girls have never had their ass eaten in the past, unless you're dating some girl who has a lot of sexual experience. So she's going to remember you for that move, and it's going to give her basically the first experience of having a thumb in her ass or somebody kissing her asshole. So that's a very, very extreme experience in a good way, in my opinion. Some girls, again, may not be cool with that, so the girl might stop you, but if she's into that, she's going to really enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you guys leave it a thumbs up. And again, if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. And in any ways, everything I'm associated with, all my social media and my other resources, I'm going to link them in the description of the video below, so make sure to check them out. In any ways, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye-bye.